Hi there, my name's John Wood, UK Master Trainer for Technogym here in the UK. Today I'm at St George's Park. I'm going to give you a little bit of an overview of the three innovative pieces of selection med equipment that we have here. We've got the leg press, leg extension and leg curl. Today we're going to be having a look at the selection med leg press. It's quite an innovative tool from a training perspective. It's got multiple resistance systems on it and a lot of adjustability so that we can get the user into lots of different positions and make them work exactly how we want to. We can adjust the angle of the backrest so that we can change the position from a lying position to a seated position. We can also adjust the shoulder position to make sure that the person's nice and comfortable while they're exercising. In terms of resistance, there's many ways that we can use this. In the early stages of rehabilitation, we could actually work isometrically so that the user can apply resistance or force against the foot plate but only work to a certain position in the range of motion, which is really useful from an early stage of rehabilitation. We could use it with no load at all, so we're just using the weight of the sled and the user, which will actually assist. So for a 70 kilogram person, they're probably only going to be lifting about 15 kilograms of load when they're doing that, which is great just for working through ranges of motion. Then once we start to progress on, we can work through the different resistance systems. So here underneath the machine, we've got 10 elastic bungee cords. That'll give about 10 kilograms of resistance each, depending on the part of the movement pattern we're at. This can be easily selected down at the side here. And then we can work with just elastic load. So a progressive load that loads the muscle in the joint far more gradually and progressively than it would do if we were just using a weight stack alone. We could also just use it in a traditional leg press sense. So I can activate a normal weight stack that will lift as the user applies force through the foot plate. If I wanted to go a kind of stage further, what I could then do is use the multiple resistance system to add both a bungee load, so elastic load, and a weight stack load. So using the lever down here, I can engage the weight stack. So in this position here, I'm using 15 kilograms of weight stack load, and then down here, I've got 30 kilograms of elastic load. So I'm actually using 45 kilograms. The advantage with this is that at the early part of the movement, I'm actually not lifting a full 45 kilograms. I'll only be lifting that if I can push right to the back of the end of the movement. So much more progressive loading of the muscle and joint. We can also work very explosively on it as well. So if we want to do explosive work, we can do, and we can do this in a safe and controlled environment. We also have a range of accessories that will attach onto the foot plate, which are magnetic, which will then enable us to rehabilitate players or people in unstable surface positions, so a foam cushion pad or a stability disc. We also have some other attachments which will allow us to support a non-compliant leg or add a little bit of rotation into the exercise quite safely. So in summary, it's a multi-purpose, multi-use machine with multiple resistance systems on it. Ideal for athletic performance, sporting performance, rehabilitation, or just general use. Okay, so moving on to the selection med leg extension now. Again, another new piece of equipment this year. Following on from the leg press, we've got a lot more adjustability on this than we would have with our normal leg extension. So again, we can alter the angle of the backrest, so we can change the back position and muscle activation a little bit through that. We've also got full control over the foot pad position and also starting and end ranges of movement. So I can adjust the starting movement position and I can also adjust the end range of motion as well. This is really beneficial because at different stages of rehabilitation or dependent on a particular injury, we'll only want people to work through partial ranges of motion, and we've got full control of that here. We've also got an adjustable counterbalance as well, which is going to change the resistance concentrically and eccentrically during the movement pattern. So just to give you a simple demonstration, Really easy for me to adjust, get in and perform the movement. If I wanted to control the range of motion, again, that's easy for me to do. So now I can only work to a shorter range of motion, or, as is quite common, if I wanted to work in the last 20 degrees of movement, so again, multiple uses for this piece of equipment, lots of adjustability, much more beneficial and useful in all situations. This is the Selection Med leg curl. Following on from the leg extension, similar amounts of adjustability. Again, the backrest can be adjusted so that we can get the subject seated nice and comfortably. Also, the thigh pad will move to allow for easy access. Again, we have the ability to change the beginning and the end range of motion so that we can control more closely the range of motion the person will be working through when they're using the machine. As with the leg extension, we also have an adjustable counterbalance to change the loading concentrically and eccentrically when a subject is using the machine. In this position here, I have the counterbalance selected down on number 1. So it's neither going to assist or resist any movement that I'm going to make. This enables me to do the exercise with a neutral counterbalance. If I adjust the counterbalance up to its highest position on position 19, it's going to change the assistance and resistance it gives me throughout the range of motion. So from this position here, I'm working against the counterbalance. It's going to make it a little bit harder because it's adding the weight further along the fulcrum point. It's going to make it harder as I pull through. And then as I come back, it's actually going to pull me back. So it's going to assist in the movement of me coming back, but this is going to mean that my hamstrings are going to have to work slightly more eccentrically. This is actually really useful for strength and conditioning in football players, particularly because research has shown that eccentric hamstring strength is actually quite weak in professional footballers. This can lead to increased injury risk. This machine gives me the ability to control that loading and therefore to condition the player much more specifically before they go out and play.